Okay, today I get the pleasure of having a chat with Kameel, and she started a great company, and it's called Rig on Wheels, Broker and Recruitment Services. So, hey, Kameel, happy Monday afternoon.
Yes, thank you. Happy Monday afternoon. Yes.
Yeah, the week has already started. So, first question I always love to ask people is just like, what motivated you to start a business? What motivated you to start this business? How did this all come about?
Well, I come from an entrepreneur mom. So that's one thing that's in my blood. Um, However, like a lot of entrepreneurs, I've started other businesses before. I've done insurance. I've done a lot of different things, but I've always been into sales. I've always done sales. That's the only thing I've ever really done, except for maybe my very first job, and that was when I bagged groceries for about 3 months at Joe Osco. But other than that, it's always been some form of sales. Uh, but this particular uh, profession in trucking sales or trucking recruitment almost 15 years ago, just like a lot of entrepreneurs, got laid off uh, in educational sales, and I still knew I wanted to do that as far as recruiting. Answered an ad, and the rest was history. I started this business in the living room in Chicago, in my living room in Chicago. That's where I started. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so amazing. I want to ask you about sales and running a business. How do those two converge? Because I think they converge a lot, but I would love to hear your point of
Well,
view.
I mean, if you're running a business, you're in sales.
Yes.
That's the only way to run your business is being a salesperson. But overall, everything, as far as my actual industry and my niche and everything is sales. So recruiting is marketing and sales.
Yeah.
But yeah, owning your own business is sales as well. One, two, but yeah, recruiting and marketing is sales as well.
So some people would be surprised by that. How is recruiting sales?
Well, you have to convince someone to take the job. It's a people's business. Any sales should be people's. You
Mhm.
know, that should be what drives you. And you need to be able to understand people, understand what it is they're looking for, what their wants, their needs. Uh, so I'm in the people business, just like a car salesman. Your better car salesmen are in the people business. Those are the ones that do the best. So it's the same thing. But yeah, recruitment is sales. Unless you're an HR recruiter, which typically is totally different. That's more of an operations type of situation.
Mhm.
I'm more on the sales and marketing side of things.
So I like that. So tell me about the people. It's all about the people. I like that you say that good salespeople are about the people. I think that's
Yeah, it's people driven because first of all, that's how you make your money. But you need to be it's a consultative type of situation. You want to be able to understand what are their needs. You're not just
yeah,
talking about the features of whatever it is you're trying to sell, whether it's something, a product or a service, or whether it's tangible or not. You definitely need it to be where you're not talking about the features. It needs to be how does it benefit them? Because the same service benefits me differently than it benefits you.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah,
So
that's good.
so that's the sales aspect of it. You need to figure out how this particular item benefit or service benefits this person.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what's in it for them, right?
what's in it for them.
The good old whiff 'em.
Yeah.
Hey, so talk to me. You start your own business. How did you manage your time?
Oh boy, tell me about it. I don't believe in work-life balance, so there's that. I believe that is a myth. I tell my children that is a myth. And actually, my kids don't want me to have work-life balance. They believe that is horrible. We believe, and I try to instill this in them as well, is work-life inclusion.
Oh, tell me more
Because
about
if
that.
we talk about work-life balance, that means that I only get to have vacation once a year or twice a year. And then I wouldn't ever be able to have been truly a basketball mom. I wouldn't have been able to participate in a lot of their activities if I had work-life balance. Versus work-life inclusion, I was able literally to take and still, care for my elderly mom. I'm a new grandmother. My my youngest child, period, just graduated from high school and be going to college. So it's integrating and being intentional about life, but I'm really serious about work because that's how I take care of my loved ones.
Yes.
So that's how I balance or try to balance things. I try to just be intentional about it. I'm not always successful with it, but that's always the goal. And I have to, try to be intentional. Okay, so we're eating dinner, put down your phone. So we all have to remind each other about that. And they have no problem being, young adults and stuff like that, reminding me of that. So, which is fine.
Yeah,
it's very helpful.
It's good to be, I think people, especially today, really struggle to be present sometimes, right?
Be present. That's the word, being present. Because even though my mom, she was an entrepreneur and she worked a lot, I didn't realize really how much that she worked a lot. I just knew she worked hard because she was very intentional on being present.
That's really good.
Yeah, so I didn't even now, because I'm looking through the eyes of still being her child. Now, when I look through my adult eyes, oh, she worked a lot. Because when I look at the time she left versus the time she came home, she worked a lot. But when I look through my child eyes, her being my mom, I don't see that she worked a lot. I don't see that because she was always present when we were together. So she just worked hard. There's a difference.
That's brilliant. Yeah. Being 100% there when you're there is worth a lot more than being 10% there and being there a lot.
Yeah. So that's what I try to do is how can I be more like my mom is with the goal, more of what the goal is.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Do you, so when you're thinking about your employees, how do you figure out who you're going to hire and how do you motivate them?
Figure out, well, you have your standards within your company. You have your company culture. That's the first thing. And then you think of what the team is. So how we are is everybody brings in revenue. It doesn't matter if you're on the sales side, if you're on the marketing side, if you're support. Everybody's goal is to bring in revenue.
Nice.
We're innovative. We're a diverse company. So those things, that's important to us. We wear that as a badge of honor. Okay. So if someone comes in and that's not like that, they're quickly removed because they're not going to be beneficial to us and we're not going to be good for their mental health. So if you have someone that is, they kind of faked the innovation in an interview. Yeah. When they come in, you quickly know it because they're not willing to be open. Or if they don't think on their feet or think outside the box, they're not willing to bend. Things like that, the ones that say, that's not my job. Wow. Stuff like that, they're quickly removed because our culture is a relay. That's how we win, is relay.
Nice.
Yeah. That's That's really big. I was raised by a single mom, and that's how we did everything. Everything was teamwork in our house, and it worked out, you know. So that's how I think about things. And does everything work smoothly? No, but if that's our foundation, that's our culture at Rig on Wheels, because we work hard. You know, if you have a boss like me that doesn't believe in work-life balance, believes in work-life inclusion, you know, we work hard. So with saying that, all of us are colleagues, and we need to be able to rely on each other.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and that's perfect timing with the Olympics coming up.
Look at there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's perfect timing to say that. Yeah. I've been watching the trials. It's been really fun.
Yes, look at there. I couldn't have done it better. I planned that. I planned that. But no, that's really how I think I'm really into team and us doing this together, because we can, you know, we're not a huge company.
Yeah.
But the difference between us and a huge company is just people. But if we work together, it's the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. How do you, I don't know how many competitors you have. It looks like you're pretty specialized in what you do, but how do you differentiate yourself from your competitors?
I utilize the assets we have to help our clients. So, for an example, with the podcast show, some of the clients don't need, some of the clients, for an example, that come on the show and the show has featured them, it's their show, it's our show, that's what it is. Then, like one that's starting this week, theirs is, we're going to be more or less their marketing firm. So utilizing us as their marketing, not just as a show. So helping the small businesses that way. So what we do well, then turning around and helping them. So things like that. I sit on a few boards. So utilizing those partnerships to help the small and mid-sized trucking companies, because competition, everybody is your competition, to be honest with you, even if you are niched. But because everything is just so loud nowadays. However, when it comes going back to trucking companies on the recruitment side, what I tell the small companies, whether they have 10 trucks, your competition is not the other guy that has 10 trucks. Your competition is Schneider. Your competition is US Express, right? So what you need to be doing is trying to see how we can utilize the partnerships to mimic different departments that those megas have.
Nice.
So that's how I feel that my value prop is right there.
Well, I like what you said, because you also talked about you've got some specialties and some things you do that add value to your customers that are probably pretty non-traditional things for most other people in your space, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. Do you do that with like the people that you have on staff and their talents as well? Is that something else that you leverage to
yeah, absolutely. You always hire people smarter than yourself, right? So I don't know everything. I know what I know. And then Darcella knows what she knows. And then if everybody that works with and for Rig on Wheels, what we all have to know is continuous learning and continuous education. So whatever your God-given talent is, what we will do is use the resources to educate that. So then we can continue to help our clients.
Yes.
So that's what we do. I don't want somebody just to be stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
Just educate what it is they do and just keep educating it. Keep educating. And it just keeps growing. Nobody wants to be stagnant.
No, you can't afford to be stagnant.
Mm-mm. And so that helps us a lot, especially like freight isn't always doing so well, especially now. It feels like the last 2 years it's been horrible. So things like that, utilizing, everybody's knowledge and what they do well is what helps us as a team.
Great. I like that. Okay, tell me about you're starting over again. It's 2010 and you're going to start this business again.
Oh boy.
What would you have done differently?
I would start hiring people sooner.
Oh.
Like support people sooner. That's what I would do instead of me doing everything myself. Yeah. I didn't know the power of that. So I talk to people about it. That's what I tell them.
So how does that look?
Doesn't do well, and I'll be like, you have to kiss a few frogs.
You got to kiss a few frogs. You got to eat a few frogs.
Yeah, you get to that person gets you to this, and then this person gets you to this. But that's what I would do. That's what I would do different.
So that's scary for entrepreneurs, though, right? Because now you're making an investment in somebody else, and there's a cost there. I mean, you got to think about it as investment, not cost. But how do you judge it when to make that jump?
You do it immediately, but what it is you either pick up another job part-time in order to pay for that person, or do a gig job to pay for that person. But it's always a way in order to pay for it.
Yeah, because the value's there.
Yes.
That's good. Tell me about a time when you learned a lot.
Oh, goodness. Probably having to hire and train and when to hire and who to hire and all of that all at one time. And no, when to really start coming out of the operator to the manager to then the CEO role. That right there was extremely challenging. Extremely.
So how'd you make that turn, and when did you make that turn? What motivated you to say, okay, now I'm a manager, now I'm a CEO?
I had to start duplicating myself. I had to, you have to start that's what it was. I had to start duplicating myself, and then that meant I had to start educating myself on how to do that. And then educating myself on being a better leader, which I still have to do that. That is a work in progress all the time. But that's what I do.
That's great. I like you keep talking about education as being a critical part of your role and your growth and the growth of your company.
Oh my goodness, yes. That's how else do you do anything? I'm always reading 3 and 4 books at a time. I'm about to start taking this certificate course. I think that is important because how do you grow your business?
Yeah. We don't know. None of us knows everything. Do you have a favorite? Do you have a go-to book if you're going to suggest one book for someone?
Right now, it's probably the Gary V book. that I'm reading. Let me pull it up. Gary Vee's new book. Because I always would say Stephen Covey book, but Gary V Day Trading Attention.
Oh.
It's his new book. I think it came out in May.
Okay.
So I either would do audiobooks or an ebook. But this particular one, I actually got the physical book.
Oh.
I would do the ebook because I can read it on my phone while I'm in the bed. You know, the phone has a light and everything. And then the audiobook, of course, you know, obviously. But with this Gary V book, the reason why I'm saying this is because what I'm about to tell you, I haven't done this since grad school. I've been out of grad school for 20 years. Okay? So this is the reason why I say this. Get this particular book is just like a grad school book or any book in college, but I definitely would say a grad school. But it has the graphs and the QR code with your phone, everything. But I'm listening to it and reading it. So I'm taking notes on the side with an actual pen versus typing or whatever. But something that's a little different because it's normally flip-flopped. A lot of times with books, the physical book or the ebook has a little bit more information than the audiobook. This is flip-flopped. So what'll happen is he's reading his own book and he'll have something to jog his memory or whatever. And he'll say, let's take a pause right quick. I want to tell you all something. And then I'm able to write notes about that on the side.
Nice.
So what I'm doing with this book, I have not done with an actual book in 20 years.
Wow.
I might have done notes in a book, but it was an ebook. So if I say, oh yeah, I wrote notes in my book, it's always been an ebook. Mm-hmm. They've had ebooks for 20 years.
Yeah.
But no, a physical book, it's been 20 years.
Wow. Yeah, I think there's something about still tactile about having a book and, you know,
yes,
go back to it and, you know.
And I probably 2 months ago would have argued that point. However, this particular book is different for me. So that's the reason why I say that.
Yeah. That's good. Okay. Any last advice for entrepreneurs? What would you tell them? What do you tell them?
Figure out what your why is, not your motivation.
Oh.
Yes. Because your why is the thing that's going to get you not to quit. Your motivation, it's just the thing that gets you going, but your why is what keeps you going. Because entrepreneurship will humble you. It will bring you to your knees. So your motivation is very important. You know, it's very important. It's the reason why we have affirmations and all of those different things that we read on social media and everywhere. But your why is what's going to keep everything going for you.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I agree 100%. That's good. Well, that's a good place to end it. I've thoroughly enjoyed your wisdom. And so if people need employees that are truckers, they call you?
Yes, they can go right to the website at rigonwheels.com, or they can go to the email at recruiting@rigonwheels.com,
Okay.
or LinkedIn, because we're on LinkedIn as well.
I love it. You're all over the place, and they can go check out your. I'm looking over here at your podcasts and your.
Yes, podcast. Yeah, the Rig on Wheels show, and it's on Rig on Wheels. Broker Recruitment Services on YouTube.
That's wonderful. Kameel Gaines, serial entrepreneur, successful, been in business a long time, and many more years to come, I'm sure.
Yes, thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely, it's great chatting with you.